Okay, so imagine this. A world where animals have actually done it. They've overthrown the humans, their oppressors, and now they're trying to build their own society based on, equality and self-rule.
It's a fascinating premise.
Right. How would they even start? How do you organize daily life? What kind of problems pop up immediately? And maybe what weird dynamics emerge when you're aiming for perfection?
Hmm.
So today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that, the very early days of this animal society. We're using chapter 3 of that key document you shared.
That's right. It covers the immediate aftermath, right after the revolution. Their first big projects, the initial structures they put in place.
Yeah, and our mission here is basically to unpack how this new community got labor organized, who stepped up as leaders, and how they started to kind of define their own culture.
We'll look at the successes, which were pretty impressive at first.
Definitely. But also the individual reactions, some surprising ones, and those subtle, maybe not so subtle shifts that start shaping where things are headed. Okay, let's dig in.
Let's do it.
So the revolution's fresh, humans are gone. What's the absolute first thing they need to tackle? Like the most critical challenge for this new world?
Well, it had to be the harvest. That was immediate, practical, essential. And what's really striking, honestly, is the sheer effort they put in.
And the success, right?
And the success, yeah. They toiled, they sweated, but the source says the harvest was bigger and done faster than they'd even hoped.
But hang on, those tools, they were all human tools. Farm implements designed for people standing on two legs. That must have been a huge problem.
Oh, absolutely. It's mentioned as a great drawback. Animals couldn't really use anything that needed, hind legs.
And right there, don't we see the first little
Yeah.
fracture? The pigs, they weren't actually doing the physical labor, were they?
No, exactly. They directed and supervised. They stepped into that leadership role almost immediately.
Why them, though?
The text says it was because of their superior knowledge. So right away you have this division. Brain work versus hoof work, you could say.
Yeah. That sets a precedent, doesn't it? Even before things really get going. An imbalance right at the start of their equal society.
It's the first crack, perhaps. Subtle, but definitely there. It legitimizes a leadership class based on perceived smarts.
And the horses, Boxer and Clover, they were just powerhouses, weren't they?
Absolutely crucial. They harnessed themselves, kept going steadily. The pigs were just, calling out, "Gee up, comrade," or "Whoa back, comrade."
It sounds like everyone else pitched in too, though. Like, really everyone.
Pretty much universal participation, yeah. Down to the humblest, it says.
Yeah.
Even ducks and hens carrying tiny wisps of hay. It paints a picture of incredible unity.
A real collective spirit.
It really was. And the result? Harvest done 2 days faster than Jones ever managed. Biggest the farm had seen.
Wow.
And get this, no wastage, whatever. The hens and ducks apparently gathered every single stalk. And not an animal had stolen so much as a mouthful.
That's almost unbelievable. Like the perfect revolutionary moment.
Exactly. It's the dream scenario.
Yeah.
But, you have to ask, how long can that level of, unity and selflessness actually last? Especially when different personalities and power dynamics start to creep in.
That initial success, though, it must have felt amazing. Like total proof their revolution was right.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
The text describes happiness they'd never conceived possible. Every bite of food was an acute, positive pleasure.
Because it was theirs.
Exactly. Produced by them, for them. No humans taking a cut. Plus, more food for everyone, and apparently more leisure, too.
Okay, but even with this, like, group success, individuals are still individuals, right? Different work ethics, weird little habits.
Yeah.
They started showing up.
They did. And you can't talk about work ethic without focusing on Boxer.
Oh, yeah, Boxer.
He was the admiration of everybody. Worked like 3 horses, it says. Some days it felt like the whole farm rested on his shoulders.
And his motto.
I will work harder. Just sums him up perfectly.
And he really meant it, didn't he?
Lived it. He even got a cockerel to wake him up half an hour earlier. For volunteer labor, he called it.
Incredible dedication. But maybe. Also a bit dangerous. Setting that kind of example.
Well, looking ahead, you could say it sets a precedent for self-sacrifice that gets exploited later. That loyalty becomes a vulnerability.
But not everyone was a boxer, obviously. What about Molly, the mare?
Right, Molly. She wasn't exactly an early bird. Found excuses, didn't she? Like a stone in her hoof to leave work early.
What does her behavior tell us? about trying to make everyone pull their weight in this ideal society.
She's that challenge, isn't she? The individual who just isn't buying into the collective discipline. Comfort, maybe vanity, comes first. Shows that not everyone conforms, even when the supposed benefits are shared.
And the cat. The cat is something else.
Huh, yes. Vanished during work hours, just gone.
Then magically reappears for meals.
Or after work, yeah. Always with excellent excuses, apparently. And lots of purring.
It's funny, but it's also kind of telling, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The cat's a brilliant example of, well, opportunism. Self-interest, finding a way, even in this supposedly unified system. Charming, shirking, you might call it. It chips away at that collective responsibility.
Then there's Benjamin, the donkey, just unchanged.
Quite unchanged since the rebellion, yeah. Does his work, but slowly, stubbornly. No extra effort, but no shirking either.
And when they ask him if he's happier now,
He gives that cryptic answer, doesn't he? Donkeys live a long time. None of you has ever seen a dead donkey.
what do you make of that? His perspective.
He's the ultimate cynic, maybe? The skeptic who's seen it all before or thinks he has. He's not swept up in the revolutionary excitement. His wisdom, if you can call it that, seems rooted in just enduring, observing the patterns of power without getting involved.
It's such a contrast to the general mood.
A huge contrast. Everyone else is riding high on this success, this feeling of possibility.
Right, so that huge harvest success must have boosted their confidence massively. But okay, the immediate physical task is done. Now what? How do you actually build a society out of that revolutionary energy? Seems like Sundays became important.
That's right. Sundays were different, no work. And they set up this whole weekly ritual.
Starting with the flag.
Yeah, the flag hoisting. Snowball designed it, took Mrs. Jones's old green tablecloth,
Resourceful.
very, and painted a hoof and a horn on it. Green for the fields of England, the hoof and horn for the future republic of the animals.
Symbolism matters. And after the flag,
The meeting, the big general assembly in the barn. Planning the week's work, putting forward resolutions, debating them. Sounds quite democratic on the surface.
but who is putting forward the resolution?
Ah, well, that's the catch. It was always the pigs.
Always.
Always. The other animals apparently understood how to vote, but they could never think of any resolutions of their own.
So even in their main democratic forum, the agenda is already being set by one group.
Exactly. The forum is their assembly. Vote. But the actual power to shape the discussion, the ideas, already concentrated. The pigs are the gatekeepers.
And even within that pig leadership group, there was friction right away between Snowball and Napoleon.
Oh, yeah. Immediately noticeable. They were never in agreement, constantly opposing each other's ideas, even on things like, setting up a retirement pasture for old animals.
Why is that split so significant right from the start?
Because it's not just about personalities, it's about the whole direction, isn't it? Snowball seems more idealistic, focused on committees, plans, grand ideas. Napoleon seems more focused on, well, power, pragmatism maybe, but definitely edging towards control. It's a fundamental conflict.
While this is happening in the meetings, the pigs are also hitting the books.
Yeah, they took over the harness room as their headquarters, studying blacksmithing, carpentry, other skills from books they found.
Consolidating their brain worker status.
Pretty much. And Snowball especially was indefatigable with organizing, setting up all these committees.
Right, the Egg Production Committee. Clean Tails League. Wasn't there one for wild animals?
The Wild Comrades Re-Education Committee tried to tame the rats and rabbits. Didn't really work. They took advantage. And the cat joined, but was apparently seen playing both sides, trying to catch sparrows while attending meetings.
Classic cat. So lots of organizing energy, but maybe not always effective.
Highlights that idealism bumping up against reality, against ingrained nature. You could form a committee, but changing deep-seated behaviors, much harder.
And part of this intellectual push was literacy, right?
Yeah.
Snowball trying to teach everyone.
Yes, reading and writing classes. Very ambitious.
How'd that go? Was it a big success?
Mixed results, very mixed. The pigs naturally learned to read and write perfectly.
Of course.
The dogs learned fairly well, but mostly just enough to read the 7 Commandments, which is all they cared about. Muriel the goat did a bit better, sometimes read newspaper scraps.
So a definite gap opening up.
A huge gap, which means information isn't shared equally. Knowledge becomes power, concentrated in the hooves of the few who can read well.
What about the others? Like Boxer.
Poor Boxer. He couldn't get past the letter D. He'd trace it in the dust, but by the time he learned E, F, G, he'd forgotten A, B, C, D.
Oh, man. And Clover.
Learned the whole alphabet, but couldn't put words together. Molly just learned the letters of her own name and decorated them.
And Benjamin the donkey again. He could read.
Oh, yeah. Read as well as any pig, the text says. But
But he wouldn't.
nope, never exercised his faculty, said there was nothing worth reading.
What does that mean? Deliberately staying ignorant or something else?
It's fascinating, isn't it? He's not unable to know. He chooses not to engage. Maybe he sees knowledge itself as corrupted or pointless in the face of unchanging power dynamics. It's like a passive resistance rooted in that deep cynicism we talked about.
So, with many animals struggling, even with the Seven Commandments, Snowball comes up with a shortcut.
All right. He boils it all down, realizes the stupider animals can't memorize them.
And the solution is
One single maxim. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad.
kitschy.
Very. He even has this explanation, about a bird's wing being like a leg, because it's for propulsion, not manipulation like a human hand. The hand is the instrument. He does all his mischief.
What's the impact of simplifying everything down like that? The power, but also the danger.
Well, it makes the core idea accessible to everyone.
Hmm.
That's the power. Even the sheep could learn it. But the danger, it's huge. It strips away all nuance. It becomes a slogan, a chant, not a principle to be thought about.
Easy to repeat without thinking.
Exactly. The sheep apparently developed a great liking for it and would just bleat it for hours. It becomes tribal, us versus them. Very easy to manipulate later on.
And while Snowball's doing all this committee stuff, the Maxims, Napoleon's quiet? What's he up to?
Something much more strategic and maybe sinister. He showed no interest in Snowball's committees.
He had his own project.
Yeah, he believed the education of the young was more important. Jesse and Bluebell had puppies, 9 of them.
And Napoleon?
He took them, said he'd be responsible for their education, took them up to a loft, basically isolated them, so much so that the rest of the farm soon forgot their existence.
Okay, that sounds ominous. What's the strategy there?
It's the long game. Control the next generation. Indoctrinate them from the start, away from everyone else's influence. Create a loyal force that owes everything to him. It's chillingly effective. Thinking ahead.
Wow. Okay, and then the big one. The first really obvious grab. The milk and the apples.
Ah, yes, the mystery of where the milk went to. Finally solved.
It was going into the pigs match all along.
All along. And then the windfall apples started ripening. Orders came down. Collect them all for the use of the pigs.
But surely the other animals expected those to be shared. That was the whole point, wasn't it? Equality.
That was the initial assumption, yes.
Yeah.
But this is where the line is clearly crossed. It's not subtle anymore.
It's a turning point.
Absolutely. From superior knowledge for leadership to superior knowledge deserves better food. It's the formal start of a privileged class. And significantly, all the pigs agreed on this, even Snowball and Napoleon.
Unity on that point.
Unity on privilege, yeah.
And how did they sell it? Squealer comes out, right? The propaganda guy.
Exactly. Squealer is sent to smooth things over.
Yeah.
And his argument is just a masterclass in manipulation.
He denies it's selfish.
It starts right there. You do not imagine that we pigs are doing this in a spirit of selfishness and privilege. Just dismisses the idea outright.
Then he brings in science.
Yep. Appeals to authority. Milk and apples, this has been proved by science, come on, meds, contain substances absolutely necessary to the well-being of a pig.
Because pigs are brain workers.
Brain workers.
Yeah.
The whole management, the organization, it all depends on them, he says. They need this stuff to stay sharp.
For whose sake, though?
It is for your sake, he claims. For your sake that we drink that milk and eat those apples. Twists this completely. It's a burden they bear for the good of all.
And the final threat.
The ultimate fear tactic. Jones would come back. If the pigs fail, if their brains aren't working properly because they lack milk and apples, Jones will return.
And that just shuts down all argument.
Completely. The fear of Jones returning is stronger than their sense of injustice right now. They buy it, or at least they accept it.
So it was agreed. Just like that. No more argument. Milk and apples reserved for pigs alone.
Just like that. Without further argument, it's a done deal. And that really cements the shift, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
That moment.
You.
It's the shift from revolutionary hope and idealism to something else. Pragmatic fear, maybe. The acceptance of a new hierarchy. The blueprint for control is locked in. Fear and necessity become the tools.
So we've really walked through these crucial first steps, haven't we? From that initial, almost euphoric success of the harvest.
Driven by that amazing collective spirit and individuals like Boxer getting everything.
Right, to seeing how different animals reacted, Molly's reluctance, Benjamin's cynicism, and how the structure started forming, the Sunday meetings, the flag. but also how leadership quickly solidified with the pigs and how that education gap became so important.
Yeah, and then the simplification of ideas. That four legs good, two legs bad.
Leading, almost inevitably it seems, to that moment with the milk and apples, where privilege isn't just hinted at, it's stated, justified, and accepted.
It really shows how fast that utopian dream can start to fray when things like perceived intelligence or the need for leadership get tangled up with power and, well, persuasion, especially fear-based persuasion.
It really does make you wonder, doesn't it? For any society, really. When does that idea of superior knowledge or essential service stop being about function and start becoming a reason for, well, privilege, for control?
And how easy is it to use fear or those simplified slogans
Hmm.
to get people to go along with things, even things that aren't really in their own best interest?
Something to think about. What part of these early days, this chapter, really stands out to you listening?